There's a developing story in Abuja involving Nyesom Wike and Nnamdi Kanu that is raising eyebrows across Nigeria. According to recent reports, Kanu, who is currently facing trial before the Federal High Court in Abuja, has listed a number of high-profile personalities as witnesses for his defense, and among those is Wike. Here's what we know so far. Kanu's legal team recently filed a motion saying he intends to open his defense, and he disclosed that he would call as witnesses 20-odd individuals. These include major names such as Wike, Dave Umahi, and others. On the other side, Wike has publicly clarified that he will only appear as a witness if he is officially subpoenaed by the court. So, what does all this mean? Let's break it down. Why would Kanu want Wike as a witness? Kanu's case is highly political, and his defense appears to signal that he wants to bring in witnesses who have national standing or political weight, people who may lend credibility or testimony about broader issues tied to his case. By naming Wike and others, Kanu is signaling that he believes his defense will not just be legal, but will have political and institutional dimensions. What's Wike's position? While Kanu names him, Wike isn't jumping in willingly. He has said that as of now, he has not been formally summoned by the court, so he won't simply show up uninvited. That means that even though his name appears on the witness list, his actual participation depends on the formal court processes. What are the implications for the trial and for politics? For the trial, if Wike is formally summoned and gives evidence, it could shift how the case is viewed, especially given his status as a major political figure. He's currently the FCT Minister. For politics, this development could stir debate about the intersection of politics and the judiciary in Nigeria, since Kanu's case is already viewed by many as politically charged. He leads the Bannered Indigenous Peoples of Biafra, or IPOB. What are the watchers saying and what to expect? Some legal watchers suggest that Kanu naming big-name witnesses is part of a strategy to show that his actions were political and, in his view, legitimate, thus steering the narrative toward this is about more than just terrorism charges. Others highlight that courts may resist turning into arenas for political showdowns. Also, the fact that Wike has said only if subpoenaed means we might see a court order process next. If no subpoena, then he may not appear. So the statement Wike has accepted to bear Kanu's witness might be a bit premature. Now, a little extra for you to chew on while you like and subscribe. Imagine the scenario where Wike is subpoenaed. What do you think he'd say? Would he support Kanu's version of events, or would he testify in a way that doesn't necessarily favor him? And how will that affect public perception of the trial? Also, if Wike declines or is not called, how will Kanu's team spin that? Will they claim obstruction or politicization? Also worth noting, the trial has already been adjourned recently because of issues around Kanu's legal team and his defense logistics. So this witness list is happening in a context of legal tension and urgency. Let me summarize. Kanu names Wike and others as key witnesses. Wike says he will only appear if formally summoned. This could reshape the narrative of the trial. It raises bigger political and legal questions for Nigeria. There you have it. That's the gist of what's happening right now. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. do you think Wike will appear? Or will this help or hurt Kanu's case? We'll keep following this story and bring you updates as they come in. So stay tuned, turn on notifications so you don't miss when we drop the next video. For those who may not fully understand the background, Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a movement that has been pushing for the independence of the southeast region from Nigeria. The Nigerian government has labeled IPOB as a terrorist organization, and since his arrest and return to Nigeria in 2021, Kanu has faced multiple charges, including treasonable felony and terrorism-related offenses. Now, Wike, who is the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and a former governor of Rivers State, has suddenly found his name mentioned among people Kanu wants to appear in court to testify on his behalf. This alone has created a storm of reactions online. Many are asking, what connection does Wike have with Kanu's case? Some political analysts say this move might be a strategic one. They believe Kanu's legal team is trying to use high-profile names to strengthen his defense narrative, showing that his cause has been misunderstood or politicized. Including Wike's name could be to prove a broader political context or to highlight issues of governance and federal relations in Nigeria. However, others see it differently. They say this could simply be a courtroom strategy meant to delay proceedings or to attract attention, considering that the case already has massive public interest. Now, when Wike's name appeared, people immediately wanted to know, has he agreed to it? Well, here's what we know. Wike has not volunteered to testify. Instead, he stated clearly that if the court issues a subpoena, then he would obey as a law-abiding citizen and a serving minister. That means he's not jumping into the witness box willingly. He'll only go if the court compels him. That response is both diplomatic and strategic. It shows he's trying to maintain neutrality. He doesn't want to look like he's taking sides, especially on a sensitive case like this that could have ethnic and political undertones. Remember, Wike is part of President Tinubu's cabinet, and anything he says or does in public can easily be interpreted politically. But beyond the political angle, let's think about the possible courtroom drama if Wike actually appears as a witness. Imagine the attention that would bring. News stations, social media trends, and the whole of Nigeria watching as two high-profile men meet in court, one representing government power, the other representing a separatist cause. That alone could make headlines for weeks. Also, think about the ripple effects. If Wike takes the stand, what will he be asked? What kind of evidence or testimony would he give? Will it favor Kanu's defense or simply stay neutral? Those are the questions Nigerians are now asking. And speaking of the case itself, the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned proceedings multiple times, the most recent one being this week. Reports say Kanu's legal team wants to open his defense properly, and that this list of witnesses, including Wike and other politicians, is part of that plan. The judge is expected to review the witness list and determine whether those individuals can actually be called. Now, while all this is happening, there's also the issue of public perception. On social media, you can see two different camps. Some are saying Wike should appear, that if he truly believes in justice and fairness, he shouldn't hesitate to testify. Others are saying he should stay out of it entirely, since it's not his fight, and could drag him into unnecessary controversy. But that's Nigeria for you. Every issue becomes a big conversation. Now, let's look at the broader implications for Nigeria's justice system and political climate. If the court allows high-profile politicians to testify in a case like this, it could open the door for more political figures to be dragged into legal proceedings, especially in cases with national security implications. Some see that as a good thing, a sign that no one is above the law and that everyone can be called upon to speak the truth in court. Others fear it could turn serious cases into political theater. At the same time, Kanu's supporters are saying this move could help expose what they describe as the political side of his trial, that the charges against him are not purely criminal, but tied to government opposition. Whether that argument will hold in court remains to be seen. For Wike, this situation is delicate. Remember, he's already dealing with political battles of his own, both within the PDP, where he came from, and in his current role under the APC-led government. Any wrong move here could be used against him by his rivals. So, he's walking a very thin line. But one thing is certain. This story isn't ending soon. The next few court sessions will determine whether the court formally calls Wike or not. And that will tell us a lot about how the judiciary wants to handle high-profile witness requests in politically sensitive cases. Before we wrap this segment, let's remember these. In Nigeria, every political move connects to something bigger. Today, it's Wike and Kanu. Tomorrow, it could be another unexpected pairing. That's why it's important to stay informed, watch things unfold carefully, and not jump to conclusions. Alright, that's where we'll pause for now. Please like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you'll know when we drop the next update. Because we'll definitely be following this story as it develops. If you think Wike should go to court as a witness, drop your comment below and tell us why. Or if you think it's unnecessary. Let's hear your view too. This channel is about open and respectful discussion.